Welcome to my little room. Welcome to my little room. Welcome to Paul's little room. So I thought I would readdress my custom headphone project. This is a project where I'm designing my own headphones. My plan is to fully build the encasement for the driver. So that includes the mount for the head pads, the ear pads, the enclosure for the driver, and then buy a headband to connect to that. I've bought several pairs of Grado, some people pronounce them, SR80s, and one pair I already have in a custom body, which didn't go as well as I would have hoped. It sounds amazing, but I might show that in another video. But I came to the conclusion I'd like to fully design my own. Now, if you look at the previous video I've done on this project, it was slightly misleading in that there have been 3 completely different iterations for this. So if I go into Tinkercad here, this is the program I'm using to design my objects to print. The version that I've already talked about is this one. So that was quite a neat load there. You could see how the different components went into building this. But anyway, as you can see, this is the right hand side, right hand cup. This is a design for an open backed headphone. So if I click on this, there you go. And then if I move this out the way, the grill, you can see how internally I'm adding an angle to the way that the driver's installed. So the plan is that the part where your ear is going to be against, so this is where the pad will connect, attach. The driver is at an angle, so which will help with the staging. So also, if you notice, I've got holes for air to go round the driver, and this is going to be for tuning, so I'll be able to put felt or tissue over these areas to control the amount of reverb. And then if you look inside the cup, I've got a removable cable insert, holes all the way around the periphery, so if I, oops, oh, that's a neat view actually, a view inside the headphone. If I go like that, you can actually see inside. There you go, you can see the holes inside. Anyway, so I tried printing a test for this, and what it turned out, it was basically too much detail for my cheap 3D printer to handle. I can make these, but I'd have to print them in numerous parts and then glue those components together. So before this design, I was working on a different one, and I will go and show you that now. So my first intention, build directly onto a Grado cup. So if you can see, if I zoom in on that cup, actually, see over there, this is a Grado driver cup, and the way they're designed is this is where the ear pad just connects that way, and then this is a plastic component which sits in the housing, where actually also there's a hole either side of this where the headphones, the band will clip on. Now this first version I designed so that I wouldn't have to change this in any way. I could just slot it straight in. Then I changed that so that the driver was angled as well, but then that would involve cutting off this ring, raising this up into the body of the cup, so that there's a gap between your ear and the driver, and then having conventional component to attach the pads with. So this iteration, let's go to the actual design itself. The reason I stopped with this was because at the time I wanted to have a more pivotable design, so that there was more adjustment for the headband. And the problem with this design, which is the same amount of movement, it's effectively what you have here is it works the same as a Grado cup, but I've added this closed shaped section. So this mouse is absolutely terrible. As you can see, I've added this this shape with the intention of having an enclosed headphone, which I can tune. It has a lot of air holes around it and underneath, so that I can tune that. Now I'm going to take this apart. You'll notice the plan is to cast it, so not cast it, it's to print it in two halves. So if I move this out the way, and here you go. So if I zoom in, you can see the cutaway. Oh dear, that didn't work very well, did it? Wait a second. There you go. So as you can see, I don't know what that is. There's an object in there. I don't know. Oh, there you go. As you can see, this is the interior. Let's change that so it's a better colour for you to see. There you go. So there's a chamber, a small chamber, and there's air holes around that chamber, below and on the sides. And the idea is I can put tuning felt and tissue and try and make it a better sounding headphone than just putting a plain cup over a Grado open back headphone, which would clearly have no staging at all. It would sound, it'd sound very small and muffled and lack power. Anyway, so the reason I went against this was because I realised this was the first time I'd gone overboard, and I realised that my printer's not really up for the task. Let's approach it in a different way. So I put this on the back burner, and that's when I went to this version, so the version I've shown you before. My thinking was that this version, not only would be slightly easier to print because you've got one direction. A lot of the components are printed in one direction, if that makes sense. There's less of there's less overhangs, so you can print this component here. There you go. So you can print that component by itself, and then you can print this component by itself. But this proved, I went overboard again. I keep making things too complicated for my printer. So I thought, okay, let's look at building effectively just a form around that driver, which is as simple as possible. And let's take the complexity of the cable connection out. So instead of having this component here, which is for a detachable cable, what if I just have the existing cable there? And I know that would not be as ergonomically desirable visually and aesthetically, and the way it works, but what if I can make it as simple as possible, because it's my first building project for a headphone like this. So I started again this week, and then this is the third iteration, the third completely different headphone. So, I mean, you never know, I might actually end up making all three of these designs as I get better at doing this. Now, there's a component missing from this, actually. This is strange. It's not loaded. There's supposed to be a shroud which goes on here, but that's fine. I'll show you this anyway, and then if I can reload that another time, I'll do that. So what I've done here is, if you imagine there's plenty of room, pivoting room, for the headband, because these arms and the width of the fork go beyond the width of the pads, and there's a lot of room above and below. So you're not going to have that weird scenario with the normal Grados where the whole thing just tilts just a few millimeters, which makes them uncomfortable for some people. And then what I've done is I've angled the entire thing. Now this is simply an unchanged Grado driver housing. That's my intention. So if I move this down, you'll notice there's nothing changed about it. And I've got a cavity there to allow for a bit of staging, and the whole thing tilts on the ear. And if this is the right hand side, you'll notice that it tilts towards your ear by 7.5 degrees. And you can see the whole thing is much more simple. It's designed to be easily printed. And I don't have any fancy holes anywhere. It's just a very simple shape. So if I move this out the way, there you go. So it's a very, very basic form for that cup to sit in. And I mean, I could print it like this without any grill. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe if I printed this in orange plastic, something really funky. See the way it sits on the ear at an angle. See, oh, it's this stupid machine. It keeps moving. I don't know why it keeps moving. I think it's this mouse. There's something odd happening with this mouse. There you go. Anyway, so the idea is that you're looking at the right side of the person's head. The cable would actually come out the top, out here, just out of a slot in that component there. And I mean, I might put a piece of cloth on there. If I go back, hopefully I've not deleted. Okay, so this is finally loaded, so you can see with the shroud, and the intention is that this will smooth the airflow. Now, one thing you can't see is that actually that's a bit low on the actual piece. It'll be about that height there. And in fact, this is the driver is. Actually, let's try and get this a bit higher. There you go. So that's actually more accurate. And there you go. So this will actually have a small gap like that, and the cable will come out there at an angle. So this mouse is terrible. So the intention is this will be, if you're looking at the right hand side of the person's face, the cable will come out at an angle over the shoulder there, and the whole cup is well, the whole headphone tilts slightly for comfort and ergonomics. And this shroud is so that not only it smooths the airflow and improves the sound, but it makes it easier for me to attach a grill. And I've bought a very beautiful mesh. This is a speaker grill material. It's supposed to be acoustically invisible. I don't believe anything's acoustically invisible if it's unless it's completely invisible visually. But it'll let plenty of air in, and it'll have a very nice look to it. So so there you go. It'd be great if we can make all three of these designs happen. So I'll just do this one first, make a headphone, see if someone will test it out for me, get some views and then some points of view, and yeah, and then hopefully improve the making process and see if it's a viable thing, maybe to sell. So anyway, I hope you've liked this. Sorry, it's been a bit of a complicated ramble, unplanned. So anyway, for now, this has been Paul's Little Room. Thank you very much. Goodbye.